So professional.
No. It's not. It's never
It's
that.
a whole ass production.
It's like a passion project slash like really big hobby I have, honestly. Like it's just like, obviously I'd like for this to be like a thing I could do for like a source of income, right? But realistically, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just doing it just to do it because I like having like interesting conversations with interesting people.
100%. That's how a hobby should start. That's how something that becomes monetized, I think, should start. It should be a passion project first, and then, if you can make money off it, like, cool.
Yeah.
But if you can't, also cool. Like, as long as it's a creative outlet that's satisfying.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Yeah, I think also like if you're doing something like that and it's not like it doesn't come from a place that you genuinely have love for what you're doing, the audience kind of senses that, and then I feel like the quality of whatever you're putting out there is just Duke.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's what happened with modeling for me. Like, it started off as a complete, like, this is just fun. And then it became serious, like, quickly over time. Like, so in senior year of high school, one of my best friends purchased a really nice camera. And she was just like, let's just go to Central Park and, like, let me shoot you.
I'm gonna put this because now you're now we're getting into the episode already off rip. Like this is fucking fascinating.
You start talking about hobbies, I'm like, this is what happened.
This is fucking all right. So 10. All right, perfect. Now we're good to go. So actually, do you mind if I cut you off real quick? I just want to introduce you. So this is Cynthia. We met in fucking college. Thank you for. There we go. Thank you for coming on. It's been some time coming for sure in the making. This episode's super fun. You're a really fascinating person. And one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, and I'm glad that you brought this up already off rip, is the modeling stuff. So you said it started off. Yeah, so go ahead. Continue. Your friend bought a camera in high school?
Yeah, so she was like, she's just like a super creative person. And she was just like, I want to like use this camera. Let's go to Central Park and let's shoot. I was like, all right, great. We go to Central Park, we shoot, we end up going to the beach and shooting and just like doing all these activities together.
Yeah.
I end up getting really high quality photos, so I post them. My Instagram has always been private though, so I don't know how this happened, but eventually photographers start requesting me on Instagram.
Okay.
Obviously I, look through their profiles, I'm like, this is legit. I accept them, and then they end up asking to do like collaborations, which is a thing in the photography world where no one's paying anybody. We're just like, hey, let's do a collaborative shoot. I have this idea. We both have portfolios that we need to grow. Let's just like, hang out for a couple hours and shoot.
Are these like more amateur level photographers or are these like established photographers?
Mixed.
It's mixed.
Mixed.
Okay.
Oftentimes it's maybe someone like more amateur who's trying to grow their portfolio so that they can kind of like reach that next level.
Yeah, I got
I was like, I'm not even an amateur. I'm like below an amateur. I've like never.
You just literally did one shoot with your friend in Central Park. Wait, so these people that are hitting you up, it's crazy that they found you even though your shit's private,
Yeah,
that's a whole other thing.
I don't know how that works.
Okay, so when they hit you up, right? What grade were you in when you did that photo shoot? Were you a senior in high school?
Senior in high school.
So this is like 18.
Yeah.
And
Good
already
timing.
this shit. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, some people start modeling from the time that they're like babies.
Yeah,
It's
but
never
those
too
are like
early.
the parents do that. It was like your own choice. I feel like it's weird if the parent like puts their kid like the Gerber baby, like
Yeah.
the Gerber food baby. That's like they didn't choose to do that, but you chose to do that, and then it's already immediately you see a pop, which is sick. So go ahead. I keep cutting you off.
No, cut me off. It's. I still haven't figured out how that's happened, by the way.
Yeah.
But so a photographer reaches out to me. He's like, "Hey, can we do a collaborative shoot in Central Park? Like the Bethesda Terrace and like the water fountain."
Is that where the steps are?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
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 So he was like, "I have like a whole setup. Let's just go there and shoot." And I'm like, "All right, sure."
Still 18.
I'm
Like
still 18.
in high school.
Yeah.
Holy
I
crap.
bring 3 of my best friends with me because I'm like, I don't know what I'm walking into. And we walk into the Bethesda like terrace fountain area. It's a whole setup, lighting, like huge little camera mount. Photographer's like very normal, like maybe in his 20s, like guy just trying to like expand his portfolio. Anyway,
Yeah.
we do that shoot. And during it, I'm like, whoa, I'm in my zone. Like, this is not something I've done before. As a kid, I've always enjoyed taking photos. Like, in all the pictures of me as a baby, I'm like, so I've always liked it. But there was like a level of like, outlet that I felt doing it that was just like different.
Okay, so this is actually one of the things that so your mindset, right? And the only reason this question popped into my head is because I once did like so Hannah and I, when we first started dating, she wanted to do like a little photo shoot, just like a little couple photo shoot. And we got like same thing, like an amateur photographer. We hit them up, so we didn't pay them or anything. They were like, yeah, sure. Can I use you for like as part of my portfolio? And we were like, yeah.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
was shitting bricks the entire time. Like I'm not, even though like I'm good with video. I'm fine with video, but pictures where they're like pose, I'm like, ugh, like I get so like insecure, shy, timid, like camera shy. What? So you're saying when you were there on those steps, you just felt something kind of like come alive and you were just owning it? Like what's the mindset that you have?
Yeah, so for me, I've always considered myself an extroverted person. So I don't really get like shy at all. But there was like something that clicked for me where I felt like no one was there. And that's kind of my mindset always.
So the guy, even looking at the guy with the camera, you don't see the person. You just see a lens and you're like, all right, this is it. Like
This
I'm
is
fucking
it.
in it.
Yeah. There obviously is a connection that you have with the photographer because you're both kind of like vibing off each other.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of adjusting your position. They're adjusting the camera. There's definitely something happening there. But I don't consider it as like, oh, there's people watching me. I'm like, if this looks dumb, it looks dumb. Like who cares?
Okay.
You know?
That's
It's
a
like,
good mentality to
the
have, for sure.
mentality I would have is just like focusing on like yourself and yourself only and like trying to emit your personality through the lens
Okay.
and just like vibing. Like usually I'll play like music that I like and I'll just kind of imagine no one's there. Like I've shot in public places so many times where it's like you're wearing like a super fancy gown and you're like in the middle of the street and it's
Yeah,
like
that's hard. I feel like that's hard to do. Like
Yeah.
you're literally like there's just everyday people going about their lives and you're just doing like a actual serious photo shoot. I feel like that's pretty fucking hard to do.
or you're changing. Like I've had to change
In public?
outfits
In public?
Not like
the
usually
fuck?
the photographer will bring like a little tube thing, like a
Okay.
human-sized tube.
Yeah.
And you put the tube over you and you're changing in the tube.
So it's like some magician shit almost, like in the street in New York City.
Yeah, fully.
Well, that's the good thing about New York City, at least. Like people here, they don't give a fuck. Like you could be doing whatever in the street, and they don't give a shit.
You could be walking around barefoot, like
They
people
just mind
don't
their
care.
business, yeah, yeah.
I had a lot more tolerance for that kind of shoot when I was younger.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, man, it's too cold. I can't be changing in a little tube on the street, but I did it.
So okay, so then you were saying that it started off like a passion project, right? But then, or is it? So what's your like outlook on modeling now?
Yeah.
Not so much, or
Before I was like, this is just a fun hobby, and then I walked to New York Fashion Week and I was like, oh, this is kind of pretty serious.
it's turning
now.
into some shit.
And then I shot with Mike Pinsett, who was the first photographer who got me on a magazine cover, and I was
Yeah.
like,
A pump,
oh
right?
wow, yeah,
Okay, we need to talk about that.
that's
So
a whole other thing.
Can we talk about New York Fashion Week first?
Yeah.
So how'd you get that gig? Like, what does that look like?
My life with this has been absolutely crazy. The way things have kind of like lined up.
Yeah.
So a photographer that I'd worked with a lot, his name was Aldo.
Mm-hmm.
He had a friend who has her own fashion line, and
Okay.
she was gonna throw like a runway show for New York Fashion Week and needed models. So he was like, "Oh, you would be great. She's Israeli. Like you would be perfect." I was like, "I will say yes to anything that sounds cool. So I will do this runway show."
So you like walk on the runway?
Yeah.
You're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, so you not only modeled for a camera, but you modeled like clothes
Oh, it
on
was a
like
full
full-on
show.
fashion runway.
Yeah, with like multiple models, multiple outfits
For New York Fashion Week.
for New York Fashion Week.
That's
So,
fucking
you know,
crazy. That's fucking
I
crazy.
hear that opportunity. I'm like, yes.
How old are you at this point? Sorry.
I was a junior in college, junior or senior.
Damn. So you're only what is that? Like 3 years into it? Like three maybe 4 years into like modeling, and it's not like you're pursuing this aggressively, right? It's like every now and then you're.
Yeah, every couple of weeks I'm doing a shoot.
Damn, that's crazy.
So I'm like, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I walk in. So there was like a dress rehearsal like hours and hours before. We basically spent the whole day in the venue where we were doing the runway.
Okay.
I was the shortest person there.
Yeah, because
By
aren't runway
far.
models typically like pretty tall?
And
Like,
most of these
close
models,
to 6 foot.
like they do this for a living.
Yeah.
Like I'm just somebody who did it on the side.
Yeah.
So I'm there like, oh hey guys,
How tall are you again?
I'm 5'4".
And they're like like 5'11",
These girls are like
5'10".
5'10", 5'11".
Holy shit.
So they were trying to find an outfit that would fit on me.
Okay.
Because, you know, they're made for these like really long, elegant girls. And
Yeah.
I'm just like,
That's crazy.
we finally found an outfit that worked.
Okay.
And we did the runway show. My parents came, and I was just like, there was like articles written about it. I was in them.
Yeah, I saw that.
So after that, and after the magazine cover, and then getting another magazine editorial after that, now I'm more in the mindset of like, I wouldn't quit my job and do this full time. Like, obviously modeling has an expiration date. It's not the most sustainable career.
Yeah.
But is it like, you know, one of my favorite creative hobbies that can be monetized, but I don't care if it isn't either? Yes.
So do they pay you when you do those things? Like for New York Fashion Week, did you get paid?
No.
So neither for the pump cover, right?
No.
Okay, but actually, I had another question that popped into my head, and it's like a non-serious one, but like, what's the food situation like for like the New York Fashion Week? Because I mean, I'm assuming like they don't want you to be like bloated and shit, like eating full heavy meals. But if you're there the whole day,
yeah, I mean, you kind of have to fend for yourself.
So they don't give you food?
I mean, I'm sure some brands do. I can't speak for every brand. Like, this was a very low key, newer brand that like didn't have
independent, like
biggest budget.
Gotcha.
So it's like, hey, if you want to go get food in the little time that you have in between like getting your hair and makeup done and rehearsing, sure. I don't think I ate that day, but like, don't recommend that. Please eat.
I would be cranky as fuck. And then you got to change outfits and all this. Oh my God, that's wild.
But it's like, you don't even have time to think about the fact that you're hungry because it is absolute chaos behind the scenes. Like, people are ripping stockings off. Like, people are like trying to change super fast. Like, it's insanity. So you don't even think about it.
Another, I guess this is kind of a crazier question, but like, in the back when you're changing so fast, are there just like are the models just walking around naked?
Yeah.
Like full birthday suit, like nipples and.
I mean, you try to avoid it, but like, you got to do what you got to do.
So they're trying to get changed that quickly.
Yeah.
What is it not like? Oh, I guess it's because it's like a cycle, right? Of how many?
It's a cycle.
So you just got to keep changing outfits and keep walking, keep changing.
Yep.
That's fucking intense. Do you not sweat?
You are, but like, you try to just like get yourself together. You're like,
one of these shits. How long does hair and makeup take?
So that was the first time someone's ever done my makeup, and the only time, because I don't let people touch my face.
Really?
But it took probably like 2 hours, and they did my hair. So like, anyone that knows me knows I always put my hair down. They put my hair into the tightest, highest ponytail I've ever had in my life. I couldn't even feel my head. That took so long to do. I also have a lot of hair.
Yeah.
After the runway, when I was like taking the hair tie off, my hair was just like stuck.
Did they probably hairsprayed it and gelled it down,
Yes.
right? Oh.
Washing that out, it was like a rock. I was like,
Oh,
like
nah.
knocking it.
Oh, nah. So wait, why did you tell them that? Or I guess you don't have a say, right? Like, if you're like, I don't really like when my hair's down, they just do it anyways.
Doesn't matter.
And I bet you they're not gentle with that shit either. They're probably just
No,
like
they were
yanking the fucking
that.
shit out of your scalp. Nah,
Well, they
man.
got like, 20, 30 other models to get through. So
they're
like,
just
chop,
going
chop.
through, and each one takes 2 hours.
Oh no, total.
Oh,
Like,
total. Okay.
between everyone finishing.
Okay,
it's
gotcha,
probably
gotcha,
around
gotcha,
like 2
gotcha.
hours.
Okay,
But again,
alright.
this isn't speaking for like all runway shows and how they work. Like, every single one is different. But that was just my experience, and I loved it. The ponytail was ponying for the time, and we're never doing that again.
So would you say after that experience, I'm sure you'd be open to doing like another runway
For sure.
gig, but do you prefer like photography? Like, I don't know what you call that, like modeling for a camera or like a runway?
I would say it's like apples and oranges, because the runway show is like a full day experience, and you're
Okay.
connecting with a lot of people, and it's an amazing opportunity to network with creatives that you would never interact with
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
But I would say that I prefer the photography just because it's a little less chaotic. You could shoot for 5 or 6 hours and calmly change your outfit and calmly eat, and
Yeah.
it's a lot slower paced. Even though it still is physically tiring, it's just not as chaotic.
Not as intense, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. That makes sense, actually, when you put it like that. So how'd you go from, so which came first? I thought the pump cover came first, right?
The runway show came first.
Okay, so then how'd you get the pump cover?
So the pump cover, this is after we graduated. And there was a photographer that hit me up, Mike Pinsett, who his portfolio at the time was smaller on Instagram.
Okay.
But I had a really good feeling that like because a lot of people hit me up all the time being like, you want to shoot, you want to shoot. Something like my gut feeling just told me this would be a really great opportunity.
Okay.
Good guy. And you know, his whole house is basically a studio. Like every room is a different.
He's New York City based, I'm assuming?
It's like an hour from New
Up
York City.
like north?
North.
So it's in Westchester or
Something like that.
did you cross it? You don't remember like what area it is in?
I've been there several times and I still can't.
You still can't remember the town name?
It's like Valley Cottage.
Oh,
or something like
Valley
that.
Cottage is okay. So that's actually okay. So that's pretty deep. That's
like
more
an hour
around like
out.
where I'm from. Like
really?
Like closer to there than like Westchester.
Okay.
So you had to cross the GW or the Tappan Zee. You went across
Yes.
the river, so like Jersey side, but then New York like up.
Yeah.
Further north, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said house. I'm like, what fucking house? Because if he has a house with different themes for every room, that's a big ass house.
Big house.
Okay, so
for
he
sure.
hits you up. You go over there, and then
And we have a bunch of different looks in mind. It's also like my first time shooting with him. So
Mm-hmm.
like I always consider a first shoot with a new photographer like an interview for me. Like it's a time to impress.
Okay.
It's a time to like really show up and show out.
Mm-hmm.
So I lay out all these outfits, which are mine, but he also has his own outfits. Like he has like a whole closet of clothes. So now we're kind of like strategizing like this piece with this piece, whatever.
so typically, are you the one making the outfits?
Usually.
Really, I didn't
The
know
photographer might send you some like inspo and be
Okay.
like something like this.
Okay.
But usually I'm the one bringing the
interesting.
actual outfits.
So like the stuff that you've done in the past, especially the earlier stuff, that's all your sense of style. That's not
Yes.
the photographer saying, "Oh, I want you to wear this."
No.
I would have thought it was the other way around.
It could be. I mean, there's totally some outfits I've worn where it's like maybe I wouldn't have picked this,
Mm-hmm.
but they wanted it, and I had something in my closet that worked.
Okay.
But Mike had an amazing collection of like shoes, like tops, etc. So we were kind of like mixing and matching. We eventually put together this outfit that's like a leather vest, which was his, and the rest was mine. We shoot it and we're like, there's
Killing.
some power in this.
Okay.
Like this looks really unique. And he was like, I'm gonna submit this to a magazine. And so some magazines take submissions from photographers, and the magazine will choose who makes it in the magazine and who doesn't, who's the cover, which is a huge accomplishment,
Yeah.
and who's just like an editorial in it.
Okay.
So he submitted it just like any other photographer would, and we ended up getting the cover.
That's fucking crazy.
Crazy. And at the time too, I was still institutionally trading. I was exhausted. I was like going through a breakup, which was really rough.
Yeah.
And to have that happen was like, whoa, this is something I should follow.
Damn, so you're fucking at that time, your shit is just like break up, tired fucking magazine cover, like roller coasters.
Story of my life.
Holy
Genuinely.
shit! Yeah, you're a busy bee for sure. You're
love being a busy
super
bee.
busy person. Yeah. That's awesome though. I mean, it shows. You're very driven and goal oriented for sure.
Thank you.
So you get that. He submits it. You get the fucking cover of the magazine. Does he get any like piece of the pie? Like when they select your picture that he shot, do they then go to him like, all right, we'll give you like a, I don't know, like commission or something like that? Like I don't know the way that works.
I'm not sure for all magazines. In this case, no. It's just like a really huge opportunity
It's
for
an honor, yeah.
exposure.
Yeah,
You know,
gotcha.
both of our names are plastered on the cover and on pretty much every single page afterwards. So it's a huge opportunity for exposure. And I'll say, like, since that first time I shot with him, his page has exploded. Like,
That's
he's an
crazy.
extremely successful photographer, not just from my cover. I mean, he did a lot of amazing shoots and got a lot of magazines after, before and after me, but it all helps. Like, now I think he's definitely a significant name.
Would you shoot with him again, or have
Oh,
you
I
shot
have.
with him again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually recently just shot with him, and we did some amazing looks. Like he's so creative. He turned one of his couches into like one giant cloud by putting like little fluff on it.
Okay.
So we did like a little angel shoot. Like he's just the best. So
Okay.
like I consider all the photographers I work with ultimately friends.
Okay.
It's like we hit each other up and just like talk about life too, and we shoot. So it's like a win-win.
Would you ever date a photographer of yours?
No, you got to
'Cause
keep
that-
it professional.
Okay, gotcha.
I feel like keeping like compartmentalizing
Like, you gotta-
aspects of your life is important.
100%.
And I think for me, I consider this like a professional endeavor, even though it's like a hobby and it's just like for fun. I don't want to make those two things messy.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just because I feel like modeling and like the relationship between a photographer and the model can be really intimate. So I feel like that a lot of times, usually, I mean, you could speak more to this than I would be able to, but is it like a common thing where you see, you know, whatever model, like, is it rare to find a model who ends up dating their photographer, or is it like it happens every now and then?
I mean, anecdotally from like the models that I know and the photographers that I know, I don't know any that have dated.
Okay.
Usually photographers, good ones, make it a point to be extremely professional.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, if you were to start hearing stories about like, oh, this photographer and this model started dating and this and that, I would maybe walk into a shoot and be like, are you hitting on me, or are you trying to make this like a good look?
Okay.
Like, are you like moving my hair out of my face because you want this for the photo, or
picture,
are you flirting with it?
Yeah.
You don't want to be confused with that. And I think if a photographer falls into that gray area, I think his credibility
it's a bad reputation. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing for him. Okay.
For sure. I mean, a lot of these photographers are married, have kids. Like, this is a real just professional endeavor. Like, they're
Gotcha.
not trying to, they don't want other photographers to act like that either. Because then it's like, people are going to think that's what they're doing.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. That makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
So back to the mindset thing. And I want to bring up another really interesting part about like your life story. Do you think one of the reasons that you have such confidence in like through the lens, you can exude such confidence, is because of the fact that you did Taekwondo when you were younger?
You couldn't have said it better.
Okay.
Honestly, I attribute so much of who I am now because of Taekwondo when I was younger.
Okay. That's it. So when did you start? Yeah, because this is something that's so fucking sick, y'all. Like, this is something I knew about her. Like, and when I found this out about you, I was like, that is really cool. Because I'm not gonna say I'm getting into martial arts now, but like I'm doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu is like just like a good fitness thing. It's also just good to be able to defend yourself in certain situations or whatever. And I feel like my mindset with like discipline or like anything with hard work that requires more hard work has changed. And it's also like, it does give you a little bit of a confidence boost because you know what like you're capable of. So when did you start doing Taekwondo?
Well, first of all, I love that you're doing jiu-jitsu.
Oh,
I want to
thanks.
get into it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'll talk about that for sure, like for hours if you let me. But yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, but Taekwondo, so I was in kindergarten in
Damn,
school.
that's young.
And my parents are both from Lebanon. My dad had done karate, which is Japanese in Lebanon. And my mom, being a mom, was like, oh, I don't know, is our daughter going to do ballet or is she going to do martial arts? My dad was like, martial arts. My mom was like, ballet. And they were like, we're just going to let her decide. So in kindergarten, they put me in Taekwondo, which is Korean. And I was just obsessed. I was also a really small kid, like a really small build. And so there were definitely times in school where like I would get bullied or people would push me around or whatever. And as soon as I started Taekwondo, nobody could mess with me.
Did you ever fuck someone up? You fucked someone up as a kindergartner?
No. I never fucked anyone up, but there was that kind of air of like, I
Don't
have a
mess with me.
skill set
Okay.
now. Don't mess with me. And I was a small kid, but that's the beauty of martial arts, is that it's not about your size.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee was very lean
Yeah.
and kind of like smaller build,
Yeah.
and he was an absolute master.
Unit, yeah.
So I was like, I'm Bruce Lee.
You're walking around like you got. It's not a chip on your shoulder because you're not gonna go around being like disrespectful to people, but you know, like you stand your ground.
Absolutely. And even in the terms of like discipline, which is
Yeah.
like you kind of touched on, I feel like it was an environment where there was no bullshit allowed. And you really had to be on your shit. And the master of my dojo, Master Chun, she was the best. She like raised like my class of kids.
That's
you know?
fucking sick.
All of these kids that I was in the dojo with have gone on to achieve amazing things. And one, you know, it was innately in them, but two, I think Taekwondo has a lot.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that definitely impacts like your mindset. Like you learn discipline, you learn respect, you learn work ethic, you learn all that stuff through martial arts. That's just like, I think anything that you also, obviously you take care of yourself. Like you're very physically fit. And I think that stems from the fact that like martial arts, all that teaches you, or not all that it teaches you, but a lot of what it teaches you is like how to cope with putting in hard work and like almost learning delayed gratification. Because like you suck ass at it when you first start, especially like with jiu-jitsu, like you're just getting your ass beat all the fucking time. I still am getting my ass beat all the time. But little by little, you're like, oh shit, I did that thing right. And I could do this technique good now. And it's like that is just enough to just keep you like chugging along, and then before you know it, you're like, oh, I'm pretty fucking good. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not at that point yet, but I'm imagining like future state, right? And also like for you, so you started in kindergarten. At what point did you do competitions? Like, did you compete?
Yeah, I did competitions both like locally and regionally.
Okay.
So there were competitions within New York State or the tri-state area, etc.
So what does a Taekwondo competition look like? Is it a point system? Like who is it kind of like fencing, or is it like knockdowns? Like what does that look like?
So there's different segments. So there's breaking, form, and sparring. So breaking is when you're given, you know, a bunch of wooden boards in any kind of like structure, depends on
I
what
think
you
I've
choose.
seen this online, yeah.
And you break and you're judged on your form, how quickly you're able to get through all the boards. Usually you're given 3 shots.
Okay.
And they're kind of like looking at exactly how well you do it, etc. Form, I'm not sure if they have this in jiu-jitsu, but in Taekwondo and karate, it's kind of like a choreographed dance almost.
Yeah.
With different moves.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a different form for each belt. And so you have to do that, and you're judged on like how precise you are, the power that you have. I loved form. And then sparring was like the most fun.
Yeah.
And you were kind of paired up against someone random from another school.
Okay.
And you would spar them, and that had a point system. Points were given for clean shot, because we wore gear, so it was like red dot, red dot, red dot on each side. Clean shot, if you were offensive or defensive, like who was kind of running away from the other person more, etc. Okay. So you could do all 3 of those segments if you wanted to. I did, and I thought it was super fun and such a good teaching experience.
What was your favorite of those 3?
Form.
Okay.
I think it's super artistic and beautiful, and a nice form is amazing to watch. Like some people might be like, oh, like sparring is way more fun. A good form is incredible.
Because it has that, I think I've seen it, I think more so for karate. I haven't seen it for Taekwondo, but it's like if the person does it right, do they make, I don't want to say noise, but they're like, it's like a passionate thing, right? It's like a powerful thing that they're doing.
There's like breathing techniques and certain moments where you go like, ha, like it's a whole thing.
Gotcha.
And if you're too quiet, I mean, you're not exhibiting any power. If you're too loud, you're being too loud. Like,
gotcha.
There's a perfect way to do it, and it's all like breathing control.
So it's balance and grace through physical movement. That's fucking
well
sick.
Well said. Balance
that's fucking
and grace
sick.
through physical movement.
No, I mean it seems like I remember one of the first things I asked you when I found out that you were, because okay, so first of all, what belt ranking did you achieve?
So I got up to 2nd degree black belt with 2 stars.
Okay, that's fucking. That's crazy. So
watch out, y'all.
When you said that, I was like, wait, so you could do like tornado kicks and shit? You're like, yeah easy. I'm like, what? Like you're over here just spinning like a fucking helicopter. So when did you stop? When did you stop like competing formally?
So I didn't stop for any reason due to like, you know, me not wanting to do it or being bored or whatever. My dojo was originally pretty large. They moved across the street to a very, very small spot. And with that combined with college just being crazy, I was like, it's just not panning out for me to continue.
Yeah.
But I still practice at home. Like I have like the nunchucks, I have the gear. It's obviously not the same. Like to go from being in the dojo 5 days a week and having that connection with your masters and the peers, and then just being at home practicing, it's just not the same.
So you stopped when you got to college?
Yeah.
Damn, so 18 years old, you were still fucking kicking ass, literally kicking ass.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you still think like how much skill retention do you think, like if you had to assign a percentage, we're just spitballing here, right? Do you think you have 80% of what you could have done before? 90%? Is it like sub 70? Like what do you think you're at?
That's a good question. Maybe like 70 to 80%.
Oh, that's fucking.
I did tear my ACL and dislocate my shoulder. Not doing it. Like literally just as an adult doing things that were much less intense.
What was it?
Do you mind if I know?
How'd you tear your ACL?
So my ACL was, I was riding my e-scooter.
Oh no, not a fucking accident. You wiped out. You ate shit and
I got cut off. And I put my foot down going 15 miles per hour, so I hyperflexed, which was disgusting.
You didn't break? The first instinct, I mean, I guess
panicked. It was also like my 3rd time riding it.
What
so just like a lot
wearing?
of, I think like Air Force Ones, but like that wasn't going to help.
No, but I'm thinking just because, like, if it's like flip flops, you know, like if the
Oh,
fucking flip flop goes under and then your foot just gets scraped the fuck up.
Do not wear flip flops riding an e-scooter. PSA. No open toe shoes.
Yeah. No open toe. Put the dogs away if you're riding an e-scooter.
You're just gonna scrape the shit out of your little toes. You are gonna not have a toe after that.
So like, you went to just fucking stomp on the ground because you got cut off? A car?
Yeah, a car. And it was like my third time riding it. So
These
obviously
dickheads in New York City, bro.
You gotta be more careful of the fucking like bicyclists and e-scooters now than the cars, honestly.
Like if you're in an e-scooter?
Yeah. I think some of them are more aggressive than the cars.
Yeah, because they think that they could just nimbly get around, but it's like, bro, you almost just fucking T-bone me. That happened to me. I don't know if you saw it. I have it is a scooter, but I put a seat on it because I'm not fucking standing. Like, that's so dangerous. So I was riding, and this guy, I had the green light, so I had the right of way. And this guy just cut it going on like one of those little moped thingies, and we almost collided. If he would have hit me, I would have been fucked up.
Oh my God.
Because I'm on that little thing. That thing's like 70 pounds. He was on a moped that's like, I don't know, I'm guessing like 220. It's like the gas-filled ones, like a legit like scooter. Yeah.
Also, there's no protection. Like, you know, it's not like in a car.
Yeah.
First your window or your door gets hit, and then you.
Yeah, there's no buffer zone. That's going straight to my fucking leg.
It's super risky. I mean, when I first got the scooter, I got it because like going from the west side to the east side sucks.
Yeah.
And I just needed a better way, and like the trains are kind of getting really unsafe, and I was like, let me do this.
Yeah.
But it was just a bunch of really bad factors, and now if I was riding my e-scooter, I would have never put my foot down.
But you still have it, right? You still use it?
I still have it, but I'm very kind of like
way
cautious.
more careful. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off, but so you put your foot down, and then what did you feel? Like immediately you knew you fucked your shit up?
Immediately I knew. Immediately. And I'm kind of good with this where it's like when something's wrong, I'm not a hypochondriac. I know something's wrong.
You're like, my leg shouldn't be like shaped like that.
I couldn't bend my leg right after. Like it was like hard to like bend my knee.
Ooh.
And I had no other choice but to like take my scooter back home. Like I needed to ride back home.
So were you just like this? Wait, no, you don't have a seat, so you're just one-legging it?
One-legging it. I literally one-legged scooter rode
How far
to my apartment.
How far were you from your crib?
Like 20 minutes.
Are you kidding me? You didn't call an Uber or nothing? I would have fucking left the goddamn scooter. Was it fucked up? The scooter? Was it messed up?
No, it was like a little scraped. Like if you just look at it, you'd be like, oh, there's nothing wrong.
So you
and the
took
car
the hit.
obviously just like the car just skedaddled. So I'm like, yo, do
That's
or
fucked
die.
up.
I gotta go home.
That's
like,
fucked up.
So fucked up.
That's so fucked up.
I was in PT for 2 years after. Just
And you,
like,
I'm assuming you got surgery. Which knee was it?
so it was my left knee. It was not fully torn. So another PSA about doctors not knowing anything. I went to a doctor to try to figure out like what's wrong with it. Is it sprained? Is it? I kind of knew it was like fucked up, but I was like, let me just see. He doesn't even touch my knee. He looks at it and he's like, it's sprained. Don't even worry about it. If it was an ACL tear, it would be super swollen. I was like, all right, I don't know about that. A couple weeks passed by. I'm like, I'm going to get an MRI because like something's not sitting right with me. I get an MRI. It's like 50% torn.
Bruh.
And I'm like, great. Glad I went to that first doctor who was absolutely useless.
Fucking clueless.
But I kind of had faith that I could build the muscles around my knee up to a point where I wouldn't need to get surgery. Because when you do get surgery, you kind of accelerate the rate of like arthritis and other problems.
Okay.
And you have a really long rehabilitation process for ACL surgery. Like it's really, really bad. I was like, I really don't want to do that. So I went to PT for 2 years and now I'm like lifting heavier than I ever have. It's still torn.
Okay, so that was the thing I was gonna ask. Does it ever
No, it's a tendon.
So the 50% of it is just still fucking not connected, and the other 50%.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Isn't that gross?
And it's just chilling in your fucking knee.
Yeah.
And you're just never. Would you ever consider like later down the like they can't even go in there and just suture it or something like a very
It's a very like
invasive.
It's a whole process, and you're gonna be
Goddamn.
You're gonna be in like a whole leg brace for months after,
no.
and then you have to redo PT. I'm like, my guy, I just did PT for 2 years. I'm gonna chill with this 50% tear until it fully tears.
Does
like,
it
I'm
ache?
good. When it rains, or like if I don't stretch it out enough.
What is that about? The raining with the like you're the
all the
you're
joints.
Like, yeah, what is that about though?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know what the science is, but every injury I've ever had
Hurts
when it rains. Yeah.
So today, Was
I'm
it
in
hurting?
pain. Yeah.
Nah, bruh. This is fucked up. That's so weird how like nature and your body are just connected in that way. So
Not
now
in
you
a
know
good
it's
way,
gonna be.
though.
Yeah, I mean, but then you know it's like fuck. I gotta bring an umbrella. My knee's bugging
Yeah,
out
yeah.
right now.
I'm like, gotta bring like my massage ball to
Yeah.
like massage my shit.
So what other injuries? Okay, yeah. So your ACL tears. You did the PT, and you said you could lift heavier now
Than I ever have.
on a fucking partially torn.
I mean, knock on wood.
Oh yeah. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. But that's crazy. That's very impressive.
Thank you. I think I am like just a crazy perfectionist, and I was like, I refuse to let this hold me back. Like, I will lose my mind if this stops me from progressing.
Yeah.
So I was spending like 3 to 4 hours every day for 2 years, like working out at home and then going to PT and doing even more work.
So what is that like? Is it like knees over toes guy?
No.
You don't know about this guy?
What is that?
Okay, so it's this I think he's a sports biologist, or I don't know what his background is, but he fucked up his knees in high school playing basketball, and they told him like you're never gonna be able to like run again.
Oh my God.
And he like fully just blew out both of his knees. Like he was fucked up. He had multiple surgeries throughout college because he was like I think like a D1 or D2 ball or whatever. But he was like really sad about it, and then he just started dedicating his life, basically making it his life's work to kind of rehabilitate himself and then teach other people how to rehabilitate their knees and prevent knee injuries, right?
Whoa.
So this guy, I think you should look into him because he's a very prominent figure in like the sports medicine space, and he's actually introduced a lot of like newer concepts. Like for example, there's like that age-old garbage piece of fucking advice that it's like when you squat, you don't let your knees go over your toes. That's why he's called knees over toes guy, because he's like that's the worst way to fucking do it. You need to strengthen your tendons, your ligaments, and your knee in like the most vulnerable position so that it's kind of fortified going forward, but you don't do it in a dumb way.
Right.
So his whole like approach to it is really cool. And he has like very unorthodox things. Like a lot of his leg workouts are like with heavy sled pushes, backwards walking uphill, like on an incline. So
It's like activating muscles that you normally don't work on.
Exactly, to stabilize like
Yeah.
around the knee. So I think what this whole tangent, what the fuck was that? Oh yeah, so I think you'd be interested in like looking into him.
Yeah.
So what did your PT work like entail? Was it like very deep squats, like stabilization movements? Like what was it about?
Well, first of all, the whole process of finding a good PT was like dating. Like I went through
Really?
so many PTs
In New York?
in New York because, every PT has a different style. Every
Okay.
PT has a different focus.
Okay.
And I was spending time with different PTs and I was not seeing progress. And I just kept like jumping and jumping and jumping. And then finally found a PT who I was doing like 2-hour PT sessions before. This PT in 30 minutes, you will run through so many like movements and exercises that kind of do what you were describing, which is like strengthening everything around the knee. And then I just go home and I would like kind of
Repeat
redo
that?
all of those things. But it is all about just like strengthening like all of the muscles and tendons around it, because when you have an injury, your body starts to overcompensate. You start to maybe become disbalanced. Your hip is here and this is this, and like this knee's stronger than this knee. So when you walk, you start to lean on one side. Like all of these disbalances eventually become really big health problems.
Yeah.
And everyone has them. Like injury or not, I think everyone should go to a PT and kind of figure out what their disbalances are to address them. But I think we did a pretty decent job of it looking back.
If you're over here fucking walking around and lifting more weight than ever before, and you got like we already said, like a 50% torn ACL, that's crazy. So
I'll take that W.
what other injuries? Because you said you have like any injuries that you have. So what was it? We were talking about Taekwondo, your ACL, and then what was the other injury you
I
mentioned?
dislocated my shoulder. And the ironic part is I never had a serious injury in Taekwondo or any other sport.
What the
that I
fuck is
played.
that about? That's so weird. I would have
All of my
thought both of
injuries
them was
came
from
from
that.
like non-Taekwondo related things. And anyone would look at Taekwondo and be like, that's a dangerous sport. You're
It's
fighting
it's a
people. It's
martial
a
art.
combat
Yeah.
sport. No. When it's done correctly, most of the time you won't get hurt. Obviously, there was a few smaller instances where I did get hurt. But I dislocated my shoulder the one and only time I went to Vegas for a festival called the When We Were Young Festival, which is like,
Is it EDM?
it was like an emo throwback festival. It's like My Chemical Romance was there.
Oh my God. Okay.
And so my day got canceled. So my friends and I were like, let's just go hike around the Red Rocks because
Okay.
this sucks. So we're hiking. We go to this like place to like get food, and there was like the tiniest little step above the grass that I didn't see. Tripped, fell, dislocated my shoulder.
Like fully popped out. You could
I
see the
fully
divot.
fell on my shoulder. One of my friends like lifts me up. I like wiggle my shoulder and it like slips in. Gross.
Full dislocation or partial dislocation?
Full. It was fully out. Like I couldn't move my arm. I was like, something's weird. Like,
So
I
did you
can't
see
move.
the divot? Have you ever seen like you know like
I was wearing a sweater, so we never saw it like perfectly. I think I would have actually yacked if I saw it.
for real? You're not good with like not morbid, but like I guess it is morbid.
I would have
like,
freaked out. Like if I had seen it, I would have freaked out. The fact that I just like felt it.
have
was
you
way
seen how it
better.
looks when people dislocate their
Yeah,
shit?
it's disgusting.
It's wild. Like there's a like your skin just caves in and it's like a fucking
Ew.
it's wild. It's wild. So
No,
that was
not
going
good.
on under your sweater. And
Yeah.
who popped it back in? You just
I just kind of like, I didn't fully recognize what had happened. I was kind of like in a daze. So I was like on the floor. I couldn't lift myself up. And I was like, huh, weird. So one of my friends takes my good arm, my right one, lifts me up. As I'm getting up, I kind of like do this.
And it just-
slips back in. Literally, I've never experienced something more disgusting than that.
oof.
Ever.
Oh my god,
But
that sounds
then-
gnarly.
We had a flight back home that evening.
So you're just one winged through the entire airport check-in process,
I
all
was
that.
miserable. So it didn't hurt like right when it happened.
Yeah.
As the day went on, my arm became like completely useless.
I'm assuming it's because like inflammation. Because
Oh,
you
yeah.
fucked your
It
shit
was,
up.
I mean, it fully dislocated. So now and I took connecting flights because I was like, I'm gonna save money. Never again. I'm on these connecting flights. It's cold. I'm shivering. Shivering is making my shoulder hurt more. I was so miserable, and I was like, I'm never going back to Vegas again. Turns out that I am because there's another cool festival coming up.
Don't hike at the Red Rocks. And if you do, remember that ledge that
I'm
you
not
didn't see
going
before.
back. I'm not going back.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah,
So
but
then,
ironic. Like it's such quote unquote safe things.
have you dislocated? Because I think the thing is once you dislocate your shoulder once, it becomes easier, or like like
Yeah.
it's easier to dislocate it again going forward.
Yeah.
Have you dislocated it again?
Thankfully, no.
Okay. Also,
but,
knock on wood.
but
Also, fucking knock
But
on
like,
wood.
it's totally not like a normal shoulder. Like, there's times where like I sleep on it funny, and I feel it like move a little bit, and I'm like, oh.
No, see,
Yeah,
I
my shoulders
partially
are
dislocated my
fucked.
left one, and it still gives me fucking problems.
What's a partial dislocation like?
I think it's like, I think you just it's cartilage that keeps your shoulder joint in like in its socket, right? I think
Yeah.
you just really fucking not. It is an injury, but I'm trying to think of like the right word. You just stress it a little bit too much, and it's just kind of out of place. And it's not like a full thing where they got to pull and pop it back into place. It's like it's just kind of like a mini dislocation. So it's definitely not on that, like to that extent. But I think what it did was when I partially dislocated it, it's not even like the socket that gives me issues. It's like my rotator cuff. So it's
Yeah.
like stabilization or a lot of like external rotation movements. This side, my left side, is way less
Me too.
flexible in being able to do like this type of thing than my right side.
The rotator cuff is the worst part of it, in my opinion, because
Fucking garbage.
when you dislocate or partially dislocate, that rotator cuff can get chipped, injured, or like irritated in
Yeah.
some way that it just never recovers. Like for me, same like this kind of movement, like with weights. Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't like it. It doesn't feel good.
You're supposed to do that though to strengthen like the stabilizer muscles, and I did for a while, and it actually helped a lot because before I was like in a much worse position. But now that I'm doing jujitsu, every single time I live train, my fucking left shoulder gives me a problem. Like afterwards, I'm like, God damn it! Like I did rounds yesterday, and my left shoulder is like, it's a little stiff.
Oh man, do you ever roll with someone and like think about your shoulder just like falling out?
No, I'm just thinking about not dying. Like honestly,
You're like, you have bigger problems.
These fucking people are so ridiculous. So I go to if you want, we could talk about that a little bit. I go to like a Gracie school in like not
That's
Dumbo.
in Manhattan, right?
Yeah, the main one. It's not. I think it's Hoyler Gracie Academy is in Manhattan. This is Gregor Gracie. So
Got it.
still in the Gracie family. I think it's like I was trying to look up like it's so complicated because now there's so many fucking Gracies because it's a huge family that's been around for so long in that space. But he has that school in like by the water in why can I not remember this right now? It's like
Like by
where,
the Brooklyn Bridge Park.
Yes, exactly. Okay, perfect. Like that or Pier 11, whatever the fuck is it? Pier 11? whatever.
One
There's
of
like
the
the
piers,
volleyball
you know the
courts.
vibe.
Yeah. So it's over there, and it's right on the water. He has another school, I think, in like Hackensack, New Jersey, or whatever. But when I go there, all the people that are there, they're like legit. Like all the fucking professors, they're all from Brazil. Like all of them fucking speak Portuguese. They're all multiple degree black belts. All of them just are like killers, but the nicest people in the world, right? And then the guys who are like purple belts, like they're sweet, but like deathly scary.
Yeah.
So, and then when we do live training, I recently like bumped up to, I'm like a 2nd degree white belt, which is like, that's not
Slay.
even, yeah, right? Like, but the degrees like unlocks different level classes that you can do, right? So when I got to 2nd degree, I could do this thing called situational training, which is like, it's not full blown live training because live training incorporates takedowns. And that is the part that scares me the most because because statistically, most injuries in jiu-jitsu come from like an uncontrolled disbursement of weight, like in a takedown. That's how like a lot of like people's legs break and stuff like that. It's because when they're trying to do a takedown, it just doesn't go smoothly.
Yeah.
And then somebody lands on someone else's shit and like their leg is caught in a weird position, then it just like snaps like a fucking toothpick. So situational training, they tell you like, all right, start from side control, full guard, whatever it is, and then like you just spar. And I did it with a purple belt.
That's terrifying.
My first time.
Oh my God.
And you would think it's scary, right? Because
Yeah.
you're like, this guy's gonna kill, which he does, just he murders you, right? But it's so interesting because like I'm just trying to survive, and the guy is on his back, and I'm breathing very heavily, extremely heavily, and this guy's just like, I'm going to put my leg here. I'm going to put this arm here. And it's like he's doing all these moves. You don't know where he's going. And all you see is fucking gi, like cloth, in your fucking face. You're drowning. It feels like you're drowning. And before you know it, the guy's like...
You're in a pretzel.
Yeah. And you're just getting choked out. And you're like, okay, that's it. And it's like no matter what you do... Like, I've literally rolled with purple belts before, and I go to do a move, and he's like, no, that's not going to work. And I'm like, fuck. It's so demoralizing. Like, anything you do, the guy's just like, come on, bro. Like... Don't even try it.
That's so
it's crazy.
Awesome. But see, that's like the humbling part.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Of martial arts, that like it really brings you down to earth and it reminds you that you're not shit, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because then if not, you end up like these dickheads that are walking around like, what the fuck you say to me, and they get like all worked up for nothing, and it's like let's tone it the fuck down.
I have a theory that people that act a fool like that in public and try to start fights have never gotten their shit kicked in.
No, 100. If
because
they did,
like you know what it could look like because you roll with people that could beat your ass. I've gotten my ass beat plenty of times. I don't want to start things. And the overall like mantra of Taekwondo, and I'm sure a lot of martial arts, is that like you never want to be the aggressor. You actually want to shut things down as much as you can, whenever you can.
It's a last resort.
It's a last resort.
Yeah.
Self-defense, cool, but like you don't even want to take it there. Like if you could avoid it, you avoid it. The people that are out here starting problems, bar fights, things like that, they don't know what it's actually like.
They don't know the repercussions of starting like the real true repercussions of violence. Like even if you punch someone, oh my God, this is crazy actually that I just remembered this. In my hometown, there was a bar, and over the summer, there was CCTV footage that was released onto like Facebook, or I think it was Twitter, now X, whatever. And it was like a security guard was standing outside. They booted out these two guys who were just drunk and belligerent. And they're like 20 something, like 25, 26. And they, like you just said, trying to start fucking problems. And the security guard's like, I'm not dealing with this. He was like, just stay back or like you're getting fucked up. Guy kept pressing. He just gets his shit rocked, like one uppercut, because he's drunk. And also because he's drunk, he can't like break his fall or something. Falls, smacks the back of his head on a curb.
Oh my God.
And you just see the guy while he's laying down, and blood, you just see like this liquid start pooling around, and the footage cuts. I mean, I think he's alive. He's fine. But like,
are we sure about that?
He's alive. He didn't die. I know that much because my friend who's like very involved in like the community, like, and he like sends anytime some shit happens, he's always the first one to be like, hey, like this crazy thing happened or whatever. Just because he works, he's like a coach in the area, so he knows a lot of the parents and stuff like that, and he follows these like Facebook groups or whatever. And when that was released, he was like, yo, this is fucking insane that this happened in our little small ass town. Dude is fine though. Hopefully.
Good. But like, I mean, that's that just shows you how quickly things can escalate, and people don't understand that it could be like a legitimate life or death situation if you get into a stupid bar fight.
Yes.
Like, legalities aside, which is like a whole other thing living in New York City, the self-defense laws I think are very difficult to deal with.
I don't even know what they are.
I mean, essentially, like, let's say I was on the subway and you came up to me and like tried to push me on the tracks, and in self-defense I throw you onto the tracks and something happens to you, I'm liable. Or let's say you try to rob me or something and I punch you and you fall and crack your head open, I'm going to jail. And I think that I don't know what better way we can kind of deal with that, but like, especially as a girl in New York City, commuting, trying to be safe, you don't have a lot of options to protect yourself. Like, if I use my bare hands, you could still kill somebody or hurt them. Like, you know, that guy just like fell down.
It just takes one wrong fall. I could have just like pushed you
and you fall, and that's still a problem. So I don't really know what the best way to address like actual safety situations, but like the people causing the problems for no reason, they gotta chill.
Idiots.
No one who's ever done a martial art will ever do that.
Yeah. That's why I listen to Joe Rogan pretty frequently, and he, you know, one of the things he says that's really interesting, it's like counterintuitive. A lot of people think that this wouldn't be the case, but he's convinced that if you put your kid or even like bullies into martial arts, that they end up not being bullies, even though you would think that, oh, they know how to kick someone's ass, now they're gonna do it. No, because it teaches you like respect, and then again, like the true repercussions of violence. So like exactly what you're saying, it makes perfect sense. And back to what you just, that is crazy that if you act in self-defense and the fucking person that was trying to fuck, a criminal, was trying to take advantage of you or whatever, steal some shit from you, if you fuck him up because he messed with the wrong one, that you are the one held accountable.
In New York City, that's how it is. Every state is different.
That's crazy.
And I think it's kind of scary.
That is scary. So what are you limited to? What are you supposed to do? Run away? What if the guy, like, can you even use
running
fucking
away
pepper
is
spray or something?
No, illegal.
Are you kidding me?
No. The only option you have is to try to leave the situation. That is the only situation where you will not be liable.
What if you're in a subway car?
Well, there you go.
Then where most of this shit happens.
That's the problem.
Oh my God.
I mean, I commuted to school for 4 years. We were talking earlier.
Yeah.
It was like an hour and a half train ride. I saw some shit. There was a lot of times I was super scared for my life on the train.
Okay, let's talk about that actually. But before you start saying those stories, because now I did not, that's crazy to hear. Do you think it's worse now than it was back then? Right?
After COVID, things got really, really bad.
Because I commuted too using the subway systems. And again, I told you, like my ex, she lived in Brooklyn. So I would also take that commute from Brooklyn, like that long, like through Sunset Park and all that.
You know the vibe.
All the way up to like Lincoln Center where we went to school. And that it was, sometimes it would be sketchy, but not like now it's like way worse. Like there's some fucking characters, to put it lightly, on the train now. So what did you see?
I mean, also, your experience will be different than mine because you're a huge dude on the subway.
I also feel like I look like a pussy though, but but no, yeah.
Listen, statistically, less people will want to approach you than they would me.
Yeah.
But on the train, like, you know, it's 7:30 in the morning. I'm trying to go to an 8 a.m. class. I don't know about like your trains, but mine were always really packed at that time, like sardined.
Oh no.
Like, the trains were so packed, you couldn't even wear your backpack. Like, you were fully putting it on the floor and like sardine together. There would be creepy guys that would try to like touch me or just like get a little feeling, or would sit next to me and try to talk to me, or would follow me out of the train. I remember at one point, this was like, I think freshman year, I was on the train and I texted a couple of my friends like, hey, can you meet me at the Columbus Circle station because I'm being followed and I don't want to walk to school by myself. Like, I'm genuinely getting followed.
Oh my God.
And 3 of my friends pulled up to the station and like picked me up and we went. So it was like that then. And I understand that like someone like me could be an easy target, but in a situation where, say, my friends couldn't pick me up, like, what do I do? Sprint? Like, we don't have a good solution for that.
That's terrifying, actually. Like, if you really put yourself in that, like, I'm thinking about, like, if I was in your situation and you're just limited to basically do fucking nothing, you're just at the will of some other person because you don't want to get into, like, legal trouble or whatever it is. there is no good answer. There is no good answer. Like
meanwhile,
what you said
in my
before.
head, I'm like, my second degree black belt ass could fuck you up.
Yeah, but then you can't because then of the legal shit.
Yeah.
But you should anyways. Like if it fuck,
I mean,
you
hey,
could deal with the legal
if it's me or you, it's gonna be me at the end.
100%. 100%. That's what it's self-defense for a fucking reason. Don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
Have respect for your peers. But then these trashy ass people are doing trashy ass things, committing crimes and all that. It's New York's shitty. Do you follow that account? New York shitty?
Yeah. And as a native New Yorker too, like I grew up in Brooklyn, I'm always gonna love New York and Brooklyn and just like New York City and all the vibes, good and bad. However, the subway station safety needs to be improved. Like whoever's listening to this, like somebody do something.
Please.
Do you have Citizen, the app?
One of my most notable spikes in anxiety, like just general anxiety, was when I fucking downloaded that app. But I don't regret it.
Yeah, so, it's like, do you want to know and be anxious, or do you like not want to know and like
is
not be
bliss.
informed? Yeah.
The other night, I just get an alert. It's like 0.3 miles away. Man shot in the chest. I'm like, what? Like 0.3 miles away is the fucking Wegmans that's right here. Like wild.
That's like a couple feet.
Yeah, like I could walk there in 7 minutes, and you're telling me someone just got blasted like that close?
No,
that's
scary
scary as shit. So what were you gonna say? What'd you see on Citizens?
Well, today as I was coming to you,
No,
I got a notification that a woman was pushed onto the subway track and her foot was severed. I was like, lovely. Because I was debating taking the train to you. I was like, oh, should I like save some money? And then I saw that and I was like, nope.
Where?
I didn't click on it because I like legitimately didn't want to know more.
What are... No, see, like, I'm not lying to you. Like, I'm not going to say I'm from the city because I don't know if you remember, like, I'm born in Queens.
Deep. Yeah.
But then I grew up in, I don't want to say upstate because it's not upstate, but like west of Westchester. So it's not even in the boroughs. But I do have like a love for New York City, like you said, that like, because I'm New Yorker, not like city person, but a New York State or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And it's always been my dream to live in the city. Brooklyn, I fell in love with Brooklyn when I was dating my ex because it's a very diverse borough. It's a very historic borough. But then now that I'm here in this like era of the city, I'm like, I want to get the fuck out of here.
Really? You like legitimately want to leave?
Yeah, because it's like not even for me, right? Like when she goes to work and she travels and I can't be with her 24 fucking hours, like 24/7. I'm worried about her because like what the hell's going on? Like you said, like there are just some assholes that will target women for no reason and just put like, why would you push some random woman that has like just standing there onto the fucking tracks? And now her foot gets severed? How does that even happen? And how does she not die?
It's not even assholes. This is like a sickness. It's a sickness.
Yeah.
Like the kind of people that do stuff
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
And I feel you. I mean, like this era of the city, I think feels really dangerous and scary. I think growing up in Brooklyn, you kind of have like a toughness to you because you see shit all the time.
Yeah,
like
100%.
I took the train from a young age. I'm almost like in a way like numb to it, which I guess like isn't normal.
Yeah.
But
it's not. I'm not because I don't have that grittiness. It's not. Like that's crazy to me. Like I get scared.
But no, now I'm scared though.
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
level that it's at now, I'm like I like refuse to take the subway. That's how I got my e-scooter. Because I don't want to take the train.
I think honestly that's a good move.
Yeah.
I think honestly that's a very good
But
move.
now I just Uber everywhere because I'm like I'm afraid to ride my scooter because I don't want to get
You
cut
don't
off.
want to get fucking hit and then fucking mess up your other leg or some shit.
Exactly.
Like it's bull crap. There's no good way to get around this fucking problem.
But it
unless
still
you have
is the
money.
best city. I'm sorry, it still is the best city in the world. We have the most things to do, the best food, the most cultural like diversity.
It's definitely up there. I just think right now it's like kind of like the safety
Yeah.
situation is going back to like the 90s. But
Yes, it's
like
giving
literally
90s.
like the 90s.
Yep.
And that was a bad era for New York City, dude. But so yeah, wait. So New York City. Let's end the podcast on this note. You got to come back on, by the way.
I would love to.
Okay, because this has been a fucking blast.
We have too much to talk about.
No, there really is. But now that we're getting into this, because you talked about food, and I love food.
You're a foodie.
I'm a huge foodie. Have you been? There's a new restaurant. It's in I think it's Israeli styled Mediterranean food. It's owned by this guy named Chef Tolmer, I want to say. He has 2 locations, both in Fort Greene. One is called Miss Ada, and one is called Theodora. Have you heard of either of those?
No.
Highly
I'm about
recommend.
to go there right after this.
Because you said you're Lebanese. Geographically, I'm struggling to.
It's
where on the map?
It's next to Israel.
Okay, so it's similar. I would assume similar food vibes, like similar ingredients and stuff like that.
Similar, like Lebanese people and Israeli people, for example, will be able to tell like this. It wasn't made the Lebanese way, or
Yeah.
this is like more Israeli food. But
Yeah.
generally, they're
It's like
similar.
Colombia and like Ecuadorian food.
Yeah, like
similar vein.
you know it's different.
Yeah, same, very similar direction, but it's its own style.
Yeah.
So it's this. If do you like Mediterranean food? I'm assuming.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit is amazing.
Really? What do you
These two
get from
restaurants,
there?
From Meseta, there's like a whipped ricotta cheese with like a bunch of seasonings and stuff that's like amazing. But the main star of the show is like their fucking hummus.
Don't
They
talk
have-
to me about hummus.
They have chicken liver balsamic vinaigrette hummus. And I don't know if you're a picky eater.
I'm not.
That
I'll eat
shit
that.
was yo, I'm telling you, like the way the balsamic vinegar balances out, like not the gaminess, but like the organy, minerally
People
flavor
are
of the
listening to
liver.
this like organy.
Yeah, no, well then you're stupid if you're listening to this and that's how you react. What people.
Eat some grown-up food, please.
Yeah, like what are you eating? Chicken fingers and fucking ketchup? Like fuck out of here with that. I can't stand picky eaters. Like I really can't stand picky eaters.
Yeah.
So that was a really good thing. And then in Theodora, it's same executive chef, same culinary team, but that restaurant, it's really trying to push like dry aged fish.
Ooh.
So they have like a whole branzino. I'll show you pictures.
Oh my
afterwards.
God.
Wild shit. So
I'm just thinking about it now.
no,
I'm getting
if
hungry.
you need to go. You need to go.
I
The
will be
cocktails,
going.
everything is fantastic. But what would you say from like your standpoint? What borough has the best food?
Oh man, we're gonna upset people with this.
Oh man.
I'm gonna say Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, if Manhattan has all of the higher end restaurants, has a lot of diversity. But if you want authentic Middle Eastern, if you want authentic Italian, Brooklyn. I can't speak for every genre.
That's why I was gonna say Queens, because Queens I feel like has a little bit more of a diverse food scene.
You know Queens more than me.
You haven't been to Queens much, like Astoria or stuff like that.
Astoria, I've dabbled in more recently,
Yeah.
and I've been so impressed
The food
with
there is
how
wild.
amazing the food is.
The food there is fucking wild.
It's
Greek food.
everything.
They got like a bunch of Vietnamese places, little like Thai places too. Like it's very good. And I love Asian food. And I think the reason why Brooklyn's not number one on my list, my hottest food take is I think Italian American, not because I've never had like Italian like from Italy food. I think Italian American food is overrated because it's like similar. Everything's just red sauce, pasta, like stuff like that. That's gonna piss people off.
Listen, to back you up here,
Oh shit! Please do, please do, because
got
no one
you.
ever agrees with me on this.
here's my thing. Here's how I decide what I'm going to eat when I go out or like
Okay.
where I go.
Okay,
I want to get something that I can't make at home in 30 minutes.
that is, you just blew my fucking mind. I'm using that argument till the day I die. I will die on
got
this
you.
hill. Pasta, throw it on the goddamn in
Most
the water.
pasta dishes you can, aside from like a lasagna, I'll give you that. Takes a lot of work.
But like butter pasta, even fettuccine alfredo, you just get some heavy cream, some garlic, some fucking Parmesan cheese, and get the noodles, boil it, and you're done.
I'm not
That's
paying
it.
$30 for a plate for that when I go out. I
That's
want
what
like
I'm
some.
saying.
Give me some French food.
That
Give me some
you like escargot?
love.
There's another spot here called Bar to Back. Next time we do a podcast, we'll go out afterwards or beforehand or whatever to like. But it's a good fucking time. That place here called Bar to Back. It's not the best French food I've ever had, but their escargots are pretty good.
The escargots.
I fuck with them.
Here's my hot take on escargot. Although I like it, it's just a bunch of pesto.
So you don't have like the ones you've had is like pesto, olive oil, and garlic.
Yeah.
The ones I've had is really butter garlic. Like it's just drowning in butter and garlic, not so much pesto.
But it's like you're not even tasting the snail is my problem. I love it, but you're not
That's a good
actually
point.
tasting the snail.
That's a good point.
You just love buttered garlic.
Because what the fuck
And
doesn't taste
pesto.
good with fucking butter and garlic though?
Yo, quick side story about escargot and snails. When I was little, I used to find little snails in my garden all the time. No, I didn't eat them.
Oh, okay. You know that's dangerous as fuck. There are some snails that will like give you brain parasites.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, like, and you'll die. Like there's no cure
No,
for it.
I thought that they were so cute. So I would make them little homes and like give
that's
them
cute as hell.
lettuce. And snails are actually like super adorable, inquisitive animals. Like if you ever just like interact with them. So the first time I ate escargot, I shed a tear because I was like, the snail, they're so cute.
That's a wholesome story. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really wholesome
They're
story.
really awesome animals. I highly
you probably-
recommend if you ever find one, just play with it.
What's that movie? Oh god, it's an animated movie about a snail that gets like he accidentally goes through like a Nas canister and then he becomes like a race car snail.
What?
You've never? It's a children's movie. It's super famous. I can't believe I'm fucking blanking out on the name here. I don't know if it was. I think it was DreamWorks. You never. You
No.
got to watch this movie. It's a very heartwarming movie.
Maybe I did watch it, but I don't remember it at all.
It came out like when we were teenagers. I love like animated shit.
Me too.
So you would fuck with this movie like a lot.
Oh, I'm literally gonna.
If you
go
like
to-
snails, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta. I'll pull up the trailer
We out.
afterwards. It's fire.
Also,
it's a good movie.
Speaking of animated movies, like the Studio Ghibli movies.
Have you seen? Did you see the new one?
No, I still have to go.
I haven't seen it, but I heard it got a lot of mixed reviews. The Boy and the Heron.
Really?
Some actually, I think like 2-3 podcast episodes ago, the person I had on, she was telling me about it because she saw it and she said she liked it, but her friend who's like a huge Ghibli head said it was like not the best.
Wait, it's Ghibli, not Ghibli.
I think it's Ghibli. Hannah, the whole reason she does art. She's in the animation
I trust
industry.
her.
She says Ghibli, right? Okay, yeah.
All right.
I don't know if you heard her.
Confirmed.
Yeah, it's Ghibli.
I feel like this has been like the GIF versus GIF thing. Like I've had friends say Ghibli,
What do you say?
Ghibli. Well, I say Ghibli because my friends say Ghibli, but if Hannah says Ghibli, it's Ghibli.
I think it's Ghibli. But what do you say for GIF versus GIF?
I say GIF.
I say GIF too.
Okay.
Because GIF is the peanut butter.
Right.
So like, what are we doing here? It's a G. Like,
You're
what the
right.
fuck's going on here? Like, I don't know. And I think there's an actual answer. Like the creator put out a formal answer. Like it's pronounced this way, but I can't remember what it was. Hopefully it's GIF.
Hopefully it's GIF.
I know, because if it's GIF, I'm gonna be like, well,
You and peanut butter can fight for that
yeah,
pronunciation.
exactly, right, exactly. Oh shit! Wait, last thing I did, I wanted to talk to you about this was the EDM stuff. So when did you first get into like that whole culture?
Yeah, so I always loved the music ever since I was little.
Okay.
Like I have memories of being like 9-10 years old watching Tomorrowland like recaps on
Okay.
YouTube, and I was like, I want to go there one day.
That's like
It's in
you gotta treat me
Belgium.
like a baby here.
Okay.
Like I don't know shit about that whole.
So
scene.
Tomorrowland is like one of the biggest music festivals in the world,
Okay.
EDM festival. They do it in different countries, but the one in Belgium is like the
main
mega
one?
one. The stage is insane. It's like usually like a huge castle or something epic, and people from all over the world go to Belgium to go to this music festival. It's like a 3-day thing. It's insane.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
And they will post recap videos every year that
Okay.
give you the biggest FOMO of your life. Like after this, just type in Tomorrowland, like 2016 recap. The 2014 or 2016 one really got me good. It was awesome. But you will be like, I need to go.
Okay.
But yeah, so as a kid, I would always watch those recaps. I would watch shuffling videos on YouTube and like practice. But I never went to a rave until freshman year of college because a lot of them are age restricted, like 18 plus or 21 plus.
Okay.
So I guess this one didn't have any age restriction on it. There's some that like that where it's like for younger people. There's like no alcohol served, stuff like that. So I went the first time my freshman year of college. And I went like right when the doors opened, which is not what you do. You want to go at like midnight. But I
Wait,
went
when did the doors open?
like 10
PM.
p.m.
And like what does that even look like if it? Yeah, because I know like
It's just like dead.
Dead? So you were
like,
just
there's
chilling
someone
around for 2
playing.
hours?
There's someone playing, but like it's not the main act.
So do you remember who the main act was for your first rave?
I don't remember the first rave, but I remember my first like real big main act rave that I saw was I saw Hardwell, who's like he's like a classic. Like he's so old and so relevant still. It's incredible.
Okay.
But this was also in college. And I remember going and being like, whoa, what a different universe. Like you feel like a little alien. Everyone's dressed in like awesome outfits. It's like a whole little subculture. After that, I started going way more frequently. And now I go almost every weekend. And I'll
There's
go to, like,
raves every
festivals.
weekend?
Oh, yeah. We're in New York. We have like the largest density of raves
What
ever.
was what's the place right here in Brooklyn? Is it the
There's
Warehouse?
a bunch. There's
where
like
you saw
Brooklyn Mirage,
no, where'd you
Brooklyn
see
Hangar.
you were at one recently that Zed.
Zed was Brooklyn Hangar.
Okay, so
Yeah.
because I had someone I know was at that concert.
Oh, really?
And that was the first time that I've ever seen. Actually, I saw your story and I was like, because not that I'm gonna be honest here. I judged it a little bit because I'm like, I'm a big lyric person, and like in my head, it's a lot of like, like that type of
Yeah.
thing, and I didn't get like how someone could listen to it like just like when you're like cleaning or whatever, like just in passing. But then when you uploaded that story, because I don't know many people who like go to raves and stuff, I saw the fucking lasers and the way it shot out at you. And I would assume that like if you're in that crowd and everyone's because you're dancing, right?
I mean, if you have space.
Yeah, because you're not sitting. It's not like
No, you're not sitting.
like a concert. So
Never.
you're on your feet.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be pretty fun. Like I feel like that would be pretty fun.
Next podcast, we go to a rave.
Oh my god, I'm so nervous though. Like I like shuffling. So yeah, that's another thing. Like shuffling. Why is that the specific dance that people do for like that genre of music?
I feel like there's like a lot of different versions of this. There's like shuffling that's like usually used for like house music or like more disco-y dancey music.
Okay.
There's jump style, which is used for like hard style, and that was like really popular in Europe for many years. I don't know which style of dance was like the first one for electronic music, but it's evolved. Like there's so many different types of shuffling now. There's like the Melbourne shuffle and like this and that shuffle. So I don't know why it happened, but movement wise it really does work the best
Like
for the
rhythm and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what's jumping style?
So there's a genre of music called hard style that's like very hard.
Okay.
It's like very short, powerful sounds. And so instead of like the shuffling that you've seen, it's like people almost like running and jumping in place. I don't know how else to describe it. It's very difficult.
Are they doing like flips and shit or no?
No flips, but they're like lifting their bodies off the ground in a like running format. Y'all just Google it, please. There's no way I can explain this
my God,
with
that's
words.
wild.
But it's cool because at an EDM show, usually if you're in the back, like all the shufflers and dancers will be there.
Okay.
And everyone has like their own unique style. I feel like your personality really comes out in dance.
Okay.
And I feel like it really shows you how like music unites people. Like, people there maybe aren't speaking the same language, aren't from the same place, and people will shuffle together and they'll be like, hell yeah,
That's pretty
you're
cool.
awesome.
That's pretty cool. At like a big international like EDM festival that you're saying.
Even in New York, like you go to the back, you just shuffle with someone random and then you're best friends.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super inclusive. And the whole culture is called like plur, which is like peace, love, unity, and respect. And like that's the kind of culture that's like emphasized and encouraged in that kind of
At these festivals?
At these festivals or at these shows. And if someone isn't being plur, it's almost like, hey man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was actually gonna ask you because I wanted to tie in like your martial arts background. Have you ever had somebody not run up on you, but like come up to you and try to like aggressively, kind of like a club situation, just like aggressively be either physical or flirtatious with you, and you're just like, bro, back the fuck up, and then have had to like.
Honestly, at a rave, never.
Really, that's crazy.
There's a couple
to
of
me.
reasons for that. I think one, people around you usually are of this like plur mindset.
Okay,
if
cool.
they see that someone's getting bothered by somebody, people are gonna step in.
That's lit. Okay,
It's not like
I didn't even know
a club.
that.
I feel like it's every man for himself. Like literally, you're out here fighting people. Like, I'm sure it does happen. But like, if someone were to run up on you and you're like, I don't like this, you could tap someone next to you and be like, this guy's bothering me.
And then they'll
help
just be
me
like,
take
get
care
the fuck
of it.
away.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I would have thought actually for some reason, like I would have assumed that it was the exact opposite because it's a party scene, right? And I would have thought it's similar to like a clubbing situation where like people, if they're either like, drink too much or whatever it is, that they get fucking aggressive for some reason, or they're, there's just these thirsty ass dudes out here.
I mean, it happens. Like, it totally happens. It's just easier to address in an
a
environment that's like very welcoming and inclusive and like everyone's kind of looking out for each other.
Okay.
Like, there's sometimes where like I'm in a little group with my friends and someone random will pass over like a sealed water bottle to us. Be like, hey guys, just wanted to get you water. That's so
pretty cool.
nice. And
You
it's
still
sealed.
drink
Always
it?
make sure it's sealed.
Okay, because that shit, I still get like, I get nervous. So it does a little, A little crack.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you know you're
you
good.
got to
Okay,
check for that. But it's
okay.
like people are always like looking out for each other, and it also depends on the artist. For example, if you go to like a John Summit show,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, you're gonna get a lot more like frat guys there. The crowd is just gonna be that demographic.
So what artist has in your experience like the best crowd?
Ooh.
I only know like a couple of like DJs. I
Yeah.
guess I know like Steve Aoki, which I could see getting blasted in the face with a cake from that guy would be fucking sick.
His
Like,
aim is incredible. They've done like analyses on how good his throw is.
I've seen, yeah, like how do you throw a cake? It's not a fucking aerodynamic object, and the way he just sidearms it and it flies and it doesn't flip or turn over, it just goes perfectly the fucking face of the cake right into the person.
and he always gets the person he wants. Like
Yeah.
his aim is amazing.
That's a good point. Yo, somebody, one of the Giants, we need a quarterback.
Steve.
Draft this motherfucker up. He's older, right? He's like 30 something, 40 something.
He's definitely older, like maybe like late 30s or early 40s minimum.
Put him on the field. I'll take him over Danny Dimes any
Absolutely.
day. I'll take him over Daniel Jones any fucking day of the week. So Steve Aoki, I know like Deadmau5.
Yeah.
I know Marshmello.
Look at you.
Zed
you know
because
stuff.
of the fact that I saw your story and then also like the person I knew that was there. So of those, not even of those, just in your experience, which artist attracts like the trashiest group of people?
Oof.
And then which artist also has the best group of people?
So,
Give me both ends of the spectrum.
all right, I'm going to go with the positive first.
Okay. Okay.
There's a lot of artists that attract amazing crowds. And I'm biased towards this guy because I also think his music is amazing. I think the people that he attracts with it are just awesome, chill, good vibes people. Oliver Heldens, he has a techno alias, so like sometimes he'll play like his really hard stuff. But Oliver Heldens, him as his original alias, which is like a kind of disco house, very dancey. The crowd is impeccable, like chef's kiss vibes.
How many times have you seen him?
At least 3 or 4.
Oh, that's a good sample
Would
size.
love
then.
would love to add that on for
That's a
sure.
good sample size.
Everyone there is just like dancing, having a good time. Usually people come to raves with like little toys and they'll like pass little toys out and everyone will party with the little toys. Like he himself is also like, if you just watch him play live, he's like exuding positive energy. I don't know how else to explain it. You can just look at him and be like, he's a good person. And I think that just like comes through to the crowd that he kind of attracts.
I could see that.
So I'll give Oliver Heldens that, but he's also my favorite DJ, so I'm a little biased.
Okay.
Worst crowd. This isn't from my own anecdotal experience, but I've just heard this so many times.
Oh no.
It's John Summit.
Oh, okay.
And I
the
love
frat-
his music.
Okay.
I love his music. I think he seems like a great guy.
But it's the people that listen to her, like you frat
A
bro
lot
energies.
a lot of frat guys, and like obviously they're not very plur.
No one
so,
likes a frat bro.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
No
and
one likes a fucking frat bro.
every once in a while you could go see someone you like, and
Yeah.
depending on the location that they played in, you get a demographic of people that you did not expect. Like when we saw Zed, I actually did not have the best time at that show.
Why?
Because the crowd was not very plur. Everyone was pushing each other. It was really tight. Like people were not being like super like inclusive and like easygoing. Like people were like putting their elbows out to make space, and we were like, yo, like this isn't what a rave is
No.
about.
Yeah.
But Zed isn't like, there's nothing wrong with his music or like nothing about it that would attract someone like that. It's just like
Wintertime, compact space, because it's indoors, right? The
compact
hangar?
space, tiny venue.
Yeah.
And it's your luck of the draw too.
People just get fucking edgy, I guess, in those situations.
Yeah, but it's just like,
It's crazy.
especially as an adult now. Like I was such a metalhead when I was younger. I used to mosh and like go in the pit.
That
and
is
crowd surf.
wild. Okay.
I don't know how I tolerated that, because now like
That's
I was
fucking
squished
crazy.
at Zed and I was like, I can't take this.
You used to do mosh pits?
Yeah. I would like
Are
come
you
back with like
kidding me?
battle bruises and I would be proud of it.
Are you kidding me?
Not.
Oh my
I have
god.
I have some pretty funny fail videos of like me crowd surfing and getting dropped.
That's wild. That is wild. I feel like your energy, like your aesthetic, hopefully you're not going to take offense to this. And I don't know if, hopefully this, like goth Barbie, like is that a thing?
Thank you.
I feel like that's like, cause it's very much like, it's not like your typical, is goth and emo the same thing?
The aesthetics are slightly different, but like I think I'm very much both.
Okay. Can you explain to me what Like, what's the what is the difference? What does it mean to be one versus the other?
So people are probably gonna butcher me because someone's gonna be like, "You got the definition wrong." Here's
No,
how.
in your
Here's how
experience.
I separate the two.
Yeah.
Emo more aligns with like the emo bands, like someone who likes My Chemical Romance
Okay.
and like was wearing like band T-shirts all the time and like side swooped hair and like that whole vibe. Whereas like goth is a much more intricate style. Like if you Google someone like a proper like goth girl versus an emo girl, the goth girl's wearing like frills, lace, skirts, like thigh-high socks, bows. It's like girlier. I can't speak for the guys, but goth girls are very girly. Like some goth girls can wear, instead of all black, like pastel colors. Like
Okay.
a pastel goth.
So would it is like goth? Could you say like goth is like a level up of emo, like a deeper dive into that?
I feel like it's apples and oranges.
It's okay.
Because
all right.
even goth music is different. Like I would say Evanescence is more goth than it is emo. Everyone's gonna be arguing about this, by the way.
versus, I actually, who are they? What's like their most famous song?
wake me up, bring me back to life.
Okay, yeah, that one. I thought I knew them. That name did sound
Wake
familiar.
me up.
Yeah. So they're more goth, you're saying, and then emo is like.
I would say that they're more goth than they are emo.
Then what's like give me an example of
My
like an
Chemical
emo.
Romance.
Oh, okay, yeah, you said that. Okay, all
Or
right.
like Fall Out Boy or
Oh, okay.
Green Day.
Okay, yeah, you're painting a clearer picture here. So it's fun. It's so funny. Like I know nothing about these worlds, like anything, right?
Welcome.
Yeah, and now you're giving me like a crash course on all this stuff, and it's interesting. Like, it's good to just find out or like just learn about this stuff. So so maybe it's not. I mean, what would you say you're both? But I just feel like because it's like you like wearing like you said like black like darker colors, but then it's not like. I don't see you wearing like the stuff that I would think like a goth or like emo girl would typically.
I've toned
in my
it
head.
down as an adult a little bit. I'm trying to do like adult emo or like
Gotcha.
adult goth. As a kid,
You were way more intense with it.
so intense. I
Really?
would wear like chokers all the time, the band bracelet.
Did you have the hair?
I never cut bangs, but I would like severely side part my hair or head. Did you?
Like all of the fucking hair from this side of your
Yep.
head, you just swoop
Yep.
over.
Or like,
I'm
did you ever see
dead.
like the studded belts?
Yeah.
That was the only kind of belt that I wore.
What's that? What's that store? Like, what was like a
Hot
store?
Topic,
Okay, Hot
Spencer's.
Topic, Spencer's would be like where you would get your clothes from.
100%. And
What's-
now I'm trying to make it like classier.
Okay, got you. So elevate it a little bit, mature
Yeah.
your style but keep the goth and emo essence.
Bougie
there.
goth emo.
Okay, gotcha.
Like I'll
gotcha.
still wear like insanely platform combat boots.
Isn't
Those aren't the craziest ones. I've worn crazier ones in shoots, but
Are
like
you
I'll wear
serious?
those on the daily for
what's
sure.
what's like the highest platform?
Like
that
the one that I have in shoots is like this platform.
that's like what 4 inches added,
4'5".
and so now you're 5'9".
Yeah, I'm tall. I'm like, I think that's the height I was supposed to be. I feel very natural in that height.
You don't get scared that you're gonna.
No, other people are scared. I'll just stomp on them.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is like your ankle. You're not scared that your ankle, like you're gonna roll your ankle. Like I would think because when I wear Tim's, dude, like even that for me, I'm like,
Really?
like I get a little bit scared, like a little bit. I don't know why. It's like I like flat-footed, like very low-profile shoes.
Yeah, I think it depends on one, what you're used to, and two, like the stability of the shoe itself. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
The shoe that I have that's really platform feels really stable. Like honestly, more stable than like some lower shoes that I have. But like
How much does one of those shoes weigh? Because it's just
lot.
straight rubber,
a
right?
lot. If I dropped that on your head, you'd have a concussion.
Jesus fuck, man. And you're just lugging these things around all day long.
Dude, by the end of the day, usually I'm like, whoa, I gotta work out.
Your
like,
hip
I'm
flexors
like
are fucking
dragging
sore
these
from
things.
that's
Yeah.
wild.
So like that's what I try to wear now. But it's like most people who see me are like, yeah, she's alternative. I'm like the dark hair and the all black and the boots probably lead you to that conclusion.
Can I ask you a question? This is a personal question. I don't know. I don't think you're gonna take offense to this, but is that
I don't really take offense to many
okay?
things.
Good. So is that your natural hair color?
Yeah, I've never dyed it.
Would you ever dye it? And if you had to pick a color, what color would you pick?
Does it have to be like full head?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or can it be like a streak of color?
Okay, let's do full head for right now. No, you know what? Let's do streak of color first, then full head.
Okay. Do I have to still have the job that I have now, or are we in a vacuum?
Just in a vacuum.
Okay, in a vacuum, I would love to have like some like blue streaks in my hair.
Okay.
I always loved blue hair as a kid. I think
Okay.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I was just never allowed to dye it good thing I wasn't. But like a little blue here and there would kind of be fun, or like some like
Spice
dark
it up
red.
a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My thing is, as someone with really dark hair, if you wanted to dye your hair a color,
You're gonna have
you need to bleach the shit out of it. Yeah, your hair's just gonna fall
your hair
out.
is legitimately like black.
Black. Yeah.
So
I was born to be emo. Like,
yeah, I like low key with your hair. I feel like it just goes hand in hand. Like
Thank
it's
you.
too good for that. Like to turn that down. Like
that's
just,
why it's not a phase, Mom. It's who I really am. I was born
my
like
genetics
this.
dictate this, Mom. What do you mean? So, if you had to now pick for a full, like, would you ever do blonde, just straight up, or not blonde? Like, is it blonde? Like bleached, like just your whole head.
Let's be honest to each other here. That would not be a look.
You know that you
No.
know for real.
With these eyebrows and then blonde hair.
Well, would you dye your eyebrows?
Absolutely not. It's gonna be giving Voldemort.
Oh my god! No! Oh my god, that's crazy.
It's gonna be giving like Voldemort and or Malfoy.
Oh my god! Yeah, no, Malfoy was. Yeah, that's a good one.
That was
That's a
not
good one.
cute. That was not cute. Would you dye your hair?
I actually really wanted to at one point.
What color?
I was gonna bleach the fuck out of it.
No.
I was gonna.
Were you
bleach
gonna leave
shit
the
out of it.
eyebrows?
Yeah, probably. Honestly.
Oh hell yeah.
Because I feel like then if I were to bleach my eyebrows, I feel like I'd look like Chris Hemsworth in the first Thor movie. Like you're just like that motherfucker don't look right. Like something's up there. Like he looks albino. Like
Yeah.
there's not none add up. So I really was like this close, but then someone told me like it fucks up your hair texture.
I mean,
don't
it
know.
becomes what bleach does is it strips all the outer layers of, so like imagine like your hair follicles like this, but it's like an onion, like there's many layers.
yeah.
It strips all those outer layers and gets down to like the measly little middle one that's like colorless. And so your hair is literally stripped, weak, and now it's platinum, congrats, but like it's gonna fall out. So like
So that's why most people that dye their shit have shorter hair, like dudes is like buzz cuts or like
Yeah.
that makes sense.
or even girls, like a lot of girls like will end up putting in extensions if they've bleached their hair a lot because it just falls off or like breaks. So like don't if you want to dye your hair or like have fun with it, there's brands that are like Manic Panic. I don't know if it's still around, but what it is like a temporary kind of like
Manic Panic. Okay. That's a good
as
name.
an emo kid we loved Manic Panic.
Okay.
And you could put it on your hair even like with like your darker hair.
Yeah.
And it'll give it like a little tint.
But
like
it won't
a tint of
fully
blue,
dye
a tint
it.
of red. And it
it's-
just washes out.
Oh, okay. That's
So
good.
if you want to have fun, do that. But like, I would not recommend bleaching your hair, and I don't think you could pay me any amount of money to bleach my hair.
For real?
None.
What about shave your head? Which one would you do first if you had to do one?
Bleach my hair?
Yeah, okay. Because I was gonna. Well, wouldn't bleaching lead to that? You're saying then? Because if you have really dark hair, so it would have to fry it like bad.
I mean, if that happened afterwards, fine. But like, I wouldn't just choose to shave my head.
Do you
Would
think you
you?
could pull off a shave?
No.
I can't. The
No.
back of my head is way too flat, and I would look like I would look really off, like disproportionate. Like I have a really flat back of the head, like literally like this fucking couch.
I don't know if I have a flat head, but like, who would I be without my hair?
I feel like you could pull it off. I feel like people with good head shapes can pull it off. It's just like
but you don't
whether or
know
not-
till you shave it if
Yeah,
it's
but-
a good head shape.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's very true.
Next podcast,
Shave
someone
our fucking
shaves their
heads.
head.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's how we'll get the.
That'll get the clicks.
That'll get the clicks for
You could
sure.
like Photoshop me bald or something.
God, that'd be wild. That would be wild. Oh my god.
my
no,
God.
you know what? Not. I don't want to end it so abruptly, but you're definitely gonna have to come back on again. I'm sorry.
I'm so down.
I hope you had fun, but this was a very good episode. I
I'm
had a
so
blast.
glad. I had a blast. And we've been wanting to do this for a while. We
yeah.
just haven't gotten to, but literally anytime I will come with more stories.
All right, awesome.
And we'll do
No,
this.
you still have so many stories. I just have to think, like, you said that this was a thorough, thought out thing, but your answers were so with it. I'm like, fuck, I'm burning out of material quick. Most of the time, like, if I ask someone something, they'll be like, I need a little bit of a time. Like, they need a second to think about it. You were just, like, right on the money with it. And I'm like, I'm running out of shit to think about.
To my detriment. That's how you know you're getting the truth and the truth only. Because
But
I
that's
can't
good,
think for
though.
long enough to lie to you.
That's good. No, but that's good. Like, that's what this shit's all about.
Hell
So,
yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Is your Instagram public now?
It's not, but like you can feel free to request me and I'll determine if I'd like you to follow me.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I'll
It's-
link her Instagram
yeah,
in
you
the
can
bio.
link it.
Or not in the bio, in the description of this video.
Perfect.
So the usual outro is when I cue, right? We'll just snap and then point up.
So we'll be like,
Yeah, that's all it is for the outro music. So
Okay.
if you guys made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, commenting, subscribing, all that social media bullshit. Cynthia, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks
been a
for
blast
having me.
real.
This was awesome.
It's been a hoot of a time, I do gotta say. So we'll catch you on the next one. Cue the outro music. There we go. And until the next one, deuces, y'all.
Bye.